But how would you do that? If you're like sitting down, blank piece of paper, for what you're willing to reveal, how do you do it?
You know, I love talking about it because it's kind of the first question I get on DMs and things. It's like, how do you beat writer's block, or what's your kind of writing process? And you know, it's different. For one thing, you know, I think people love the idea of me writing on a notebook or a typewriter, and I've definitely done that. But I find that my phone and my notes is kind of the most efficient way for me to do it. And so like an idea, or like somebody will say something that I think is beautiful in like a beautiful way, you know, and it's just kind of gives you a seed of an idea, and then I'll write that in my phone usually. And then, you know, kind of later, and I used to do it late at night, but now I do it in the morning after a cup of coffee. I'll just, you know, sit down and write, and I'll go through all those kind of sparks of ideas, and I'll just see if it turns into a poem. And you know, if one's not working, I'll go to the next one and the next one, and I'll come back to them. And so I do jump around a lot, but you know, that's how I kind of come up with it. And then, you know, once I'm at a certain point, you know, this is like how I write a book. But you know, I'll post those and whatnot. But like once I've signed on to do a book, I'll just like write 200, kind of narrow it down to 200, and then I'll send it to my group of people that work for me, and just get them to weigh in. Just like, hey, do you like this one? Would you change anything? Like, would you swap out words? Like, and I'll just get them on a shared Google Doc to just weigh in. And that includes my publisher, my agent, and there's probably 6 of us who kind of go through it. And sometimes I'm like, yes, I agree with this. Or they're like, sometimes I'm like, they're all like, take this poem out. And I'm like, nah, I'm trying to say something here. Yeah. And you know, I'll just keep it in. So, you know, director's cut. Yeah. So that's kind of how I do it. I think the way I used to write was a bit more romantic. I lived in Venice Beach and had this kind of writer's shack outside the back, and it was tiny. Like, no, it had electricity, but that was it. And I just fill it full of everything that inspired me. All the my favorite Hemingway books, Winston Churchill stuff, typewriters, candles, whiskey, coffee, and I would just go in there, and sometimes I'd write, and sometimes I'd just read. But I think I kind of miss that, because it was very pure, and you're kind of like, you just get so in the flow.
What is your